Another day, another chance, another way, another dance. Today I'll be discussing to you all about a continuation of pretty much the topics I've been covering in our blogs, in regards to like our blogs. Right, so in our blogs, we've been covering a lot, like MVC or models, views, and controllers. We've been covering user authentication, the passports, Flash, so on and so forth. Today we'll be covering chapter 11, and chapter 11 is going to be covering user authentication with express sessions. So that's what I'm going to be going over. So without a further ado, before we begin, I'd like to introduce you all. My navigator, his name is Savas, and he'll be navigating my video. So Savas, I thank you very much for taking the time out of your schedule to navigate my videos. I really appreciate that.
No problem.
So without a further ado, let's begin this video. So let's start this. So chapter 11, user authentication with express sessions. Sessions are how we keep the my goodness, user logged into our web app by keeping the information in the browser. So each time a user makes a request, information of that user is sent back to the server. The server thus knows which user is making that request and if they are logged in or out. Information kept on the user's browser is called cookies. So to implement expression sessions, you install a middleware package called express.session. So that's what happens. So that's what I need to install now. So we're going to be installing this. Then next, import the middleware index with context express session. So what we're going to do is we're going to be taking the app and we're going to be importing it, right? So we're going to be creating a variable for it first, and then you can import it. So const express session equals require. So so that's what's going to be done,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're going to take a permanent variable like const, and we're going to assign it a value called express session. Then require express session, right? So what const does is it assigns once we assign a value to what we're gonna be making use of, it's gonna be permanent. So that's what's gonna be done. And then we're gonna be using a use request. Right, with the express session secret keyboard cat. Sorry, just to make sure that I'm gonna be unsharing, then I'm gonna reshare again because I wanna make sure that the video can be able to process it, can be able to play back the
Yeah.
pretty much everything that I'm recording after the use
No
express
problem.
session. Then secret keyboard cat. So in the above code, we register the express session middleware in our app and pass in a configuration object with the value secret property that secret string, which is pretty much used by the
Mm-hmm.
express session package to sign and encrypt the session ID cookie being shared with the browser. You can of course
Mm-hmm.
provide your own secret string. So it's
Mm-hmm.
keyboard cat, so this is pretty much, a string that's been assigned after the use express session. Now go to Chrome, refresh the app, and the developer tools, go to the application tab, and under cookies localhost domain, you'll see that we have a connected set which contains a hashed value. Right, this value is the hash session ID exchange with the server and the user's browser telling us which user is currently logged in. So
Mm.
that's pretty much what it is.
Okay.
So contact Sid, right? The name, contact it, then the value. Obviously, in our previous chapter, before I continue, in our previous chapter, let me connect to my database, Compass. We went over users in our previous chapters, in our previous chapter. So the users that are created, I'm going to be going over. So we pretty much log in our users. I'm going to be going over that. I just need to connect to my Compass. So what's going on? I'm going to be going over my book. So implementing user sessions. To implement user sessions in login user.js, we add in the following line: bcrypt require bcrypt, user equals require models user. And then what that does, you're gonna request a session, right? User ID, user underscore ID. And we assign the user ID to the session. This pretty much saves the data in this user's browser so that each time you make a request, a cookie will be sent back to the server with the authentication ID. That's how you know if a user is logged in. Contact log request that session. When you log in your app and get to the home page, you'll see that that session has cookie data with this ID information. So that's pretty much that. So as you can see here on my previous chapter, you have users. So, man. So as you can see here, I got my ID object ID. Uh, and I will 385 password, and then same thing here, Cabello, then my password as well. As you can see here. Check if the session contains a user ID. If it does, then show the create post page. If it doesn't, redirect back to the login page. So here's the if statement responsible for that. Let's go to the index. So obviously we got const variables, our use responses for express a static body parser. We got encoded our if statement. Validate middleware if requested files should equal operator null. Then request body title should equal operator null. Request res that redirect posts new next. After that use post store validate middleware, and then you got a server, so on and so forth. And then you got app use express session. So you can keyboard cat what you went over global that logged in, app that use, app listen, contact log, app listening on port 4000, get responses, so on and so forth. Try catch, catch for error, then try for images, then then her views, right? Not found. Reset.ejs. And then you got your modules, right? Then you got your new schema for modules, title, body, username, date posted. So what that happens in that new schema is it gets imported right to a home.js and controllers, right, gets imported. That console log request session, right, gets imported. And then, authorize malware, so on and so forth. So yeah, we pretty much, and then we gotta add our URLs, redirect authentication malware, you know, which connects us to our URLs, right, so on and so forth. So, so that's pretty much what happens here. It's pretty much what happens. And then you got our validation malware.js. So yeah. So then you got an if statement, so request files, strict equal operator null, and then yeah, or request that body title trim strict equal operator. Then this is an empty. This is pretty much an empty value, which means you don't have a defining value that gets required. Then you got a body trim as well. If you remember from our JavaScript, our trim, what that does is it pretty much trims the stuff that you're making use of. So a request body, gets trimmed, right? And then, it pretty much gets trimmed, you know, and this works for our user login. So that's what it works. So that's what it makes you, that's what it's for, you know. Let me unshare. So after that use, step into, so yeah, it's pretty much, yeah. So I'm just trying to load in my console. I'm just trying to load my server. I'm just trying to load it up. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's, it's pretty much, so that's pretty much what's happening. And then, so my app's listening on the port now as everything's been loaded. And then, yeah, I was the one I'm going to share my screen just now. Okay. So you go to my logins, my new user. It's pretty much same as before. You know, you just register it. Oh wait, hold on. I already registered a new user already. I did that already. So yeah, let me not do that. Let me unshare it. Okay. So module one no longer accepts a callback. Okay, I see what happened. So no longer accepts one. Okay, I see that. Because the reason why is because my code is old. You know what I mean? The code I'm making use of is old, so it's not usually. Yeah, that's the same problem I had. The same problem I had earlier. Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty much what happened. Yeah. login users. Okay.
Your opinion? Like that?
Yeah, I'm still good. I'm just making changes. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm just making changes, man. Yeah. Right, so my code, finally worked now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to log in my user, was able to log it in.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously it just authenticates, my user applications and so on and so forth. Like my password just authenticates it. So so that's pretty much what it does. Just an authenticator. It just authenticates the password and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Uh, anything on your side, Savas?
I'm good on my side, thanks.
Alright, alright, no problem, man, no problem. And obviously, I debugged the code. You can see it. I debugged the code here.
Yeah.
I was thank you. Yeah, I was thank you very much. For navigating my video. Until next time, take care, look blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. I mean, no, and
Thanks.
and thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thanks.